Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in and hang out with me and the rest of the crafty people today. I think we got all ladies in the lineup. I don't think there's any guys in this one that I'm aware of. But hey, come on in. I am kicking off this event, and I am in the group today with Crafting with Victoria Clark's group. And I am excited. I'm always excited to be a part of Victoria's group. It's a new group for me, but I'm really loving the environment that this group and the ladies and the talent, of course. And thanks, Victoria, for having me again. So yeah, because like I said, this is basically a crafter's choice event, and so you never know what you're going to get. It's a little bit of a smorgasbord, but there's going to be some cool stuff as always. Us crafters always knock out some really great things. So yeah, like I said, I am the first crafter of this event, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, and it goes until 9 o'clock. And actually, I think Miss Victoria, if I'm looking at I'm looking at the lineup here. Victoria's one's going to be she's going to be closing this out at 9 o'clock tonight. So you guys stay tuned and watch all the goodies in the group there. So, I'm already in there. Well, Lord, that was fast. Yes, I love that. I love to see myself come up on my phone. So, couple things. Let me get the formalities out of the way. You can see my name over the corner there. I'm Kim, Crafting with Kim. And if you don't know me, then I really appreciate it if you would maybe tap your screen, hit those three little buttons and give me a follow and a like and share me out, let people know what I'm about. And also, too, if you don't see that little like button up in the corner, then you know that's after the fact. There's Miss Victoria. Hey, darling, how's it going? When you see that, if you don't see the little like button, just put in that hashtag replay for me in the comments. Let me know where you're coming from, and I'd really appreciate it as well. Okay, so got the formalities out of the way. We're going to do this thing. I actually have an hour today, which I love events when I have an hour because, number one, I can gab a little bit, and number two, my projects usually take a little bit of time, and I don't even finish them within an hour, but I do my best to try to get as far as go. Thank you for sprinkling me out, Miss Victoria. Like I said, this is her group. This is Victoria Clark's group, and like she's got a great lineup of crafters and people, and they also do really, really fun things. And I love the idea that we're going to do Crafter's Choice. I like event things too, but the Crafter's Choice is kind of cool. Lisa, there's my girl, Lisa. How are you in California? How's it going, darling? I think you're Cali, right? You say you're Cali? Yeah, because I said things to you before. Okay. All right. So just as I'll do this, not remember, but I will say this again towards the end and throughout, but just to get it out of the way right now. Right after me is Rowena Mae with Inspired. Rowena Mae Inspired. She's coming up after me, guys. Like I said, I'm here until well, it's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, so I got an hour, wherever you're, East Coast, West Coast, in the middle, somewhere in there. Yeah, so she's coming up after me, and then I got a lot of things to talk about, actually. I got a lot of things going on. Happy to be with, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Like I said, you guys know that I don't come live but maybe once or maybe twice a week. It's going to get a little bit busier here. Guys, I cut my bangs off too short the other day. I don't like it. I feel like a little girl, like I like them a little bit longer. I don't know, it looks weird. I always look. Robert calls me, my husband calls me like the bride of Chucky when my bangs are cut like this. I'm like, ah. So anyway, I cut my own hair, guys. So let's see. Hey, Kim, Sherry. Hey, Sherry, how's it going? Good to have you here, Miss Sunshine. Love that. I love that name, by the way, Sherry. Son, as in Jesus. I get it. That's so cool. I see you have classes. Yes, thank you for reminding me. I do have my clay classes. I have a private group of my own. You can see under there my name there. It says founder of Mud.Clay.Art, where I actually have a group, kind of a small group, but nonetheless, I am popping things out with them, and they're doing projects and mini projects, and I'm giving away happy mails, and they're really enjoying it. We're doing a lot of things. So if you ever want to join my private clay group, after you see what I'm doing today, or any point, you can get with me. And that's only $8 a month, guys. It's really inexpensive. You can cancel anytime, but you can get a good eyeful just with going through what I've got already in the group. It's worth $8 just to see what I got going on. But then participating in the classes is where it's at. Hey, Rowena, I already gave you a little kudos as far as you coming in after me. So I'm curious to see what you got going on. And let me tell you guys, is it not the freaking dog days of summer or what? It's hot. I mean, I'm in Florida. It was 96 yesterday. It's definitely hot. I mean, I know it's summer. I know it's hot. It's always that way. And we always say the same thing, but it's still hot. I'm like, I got AC and 2 fans blowing in my studio, and I'm still hot, guys. All right. So just saying, it is the dog days. Okay, so before I start jabbing too much, I should probably go ahead and start my craft, and we can talk and whatnot. Pride of Chucky. I know, but it's true. I was like, the really straight weird bangs. I don't know. He always, oh my God, you're like a put the black eyes on, like a raccoon and whatnot. Hey, Creative would love by June. Hey, Junebug, how's it going, girl? Thank you, girls, for hanging out. And as you come in, like I said, just share me out, let everybody know. If you don't know, which so far I think everybody knows, but if you're new, I work with clay, generally something to do with clay, add it to a piece of wood or whatever. But today I'm working on a primarily clay piece. I'll put it on a pedestal, but and it's air dry clay. Sometimes I actually make air dry and polymer it up together, but this is going to be a primary air dry clay piece. And I got a lot of it pre-done just because of the time frame and drying and all that sort of thing. So I'd rather, oh, you know what, Lisa, I am there with you, girlfriend. I would rather be hot than cold any day. I cannot stand being cold. My toes got frostbite when I was younger. Like when I was 19, I was learning how to ski, and I didn't have the proper shoes on and stuff. And I have kind of like frostbite toes and my digits and everything. I just can't stand cold. It just, oh, I would rather sweat my butt off, honestly, than just be freezing with cold wind and stuff like that. And snow, don't get me started with snow. I'm not a fan. Okay, it's pretty to look at, it's not fun to live in. Been there, done that. Montana, Connecticut, North Carolina, I've had my snow time. All right, I know some people like it, and I'm not knocking you for that, but it's just not for me. That's why I live in this hot Florida stuff. Okay, now, like I said, let me go ahead and take you down to my table. Last time I was on here, I think I had my 3 cameras set up. Well, after trying that a couple times, I started having issues with it. Like my sound was kind of funky. For some reason, the sound was coming in on the other camera. And now to watch myself, I'm like, I don't know. So right now I'm going back to my standard, just, take you down the table, and then I'll bring you back up at the end. I do have my 5-minute timer on, so you guys don't have to worry about telling me what time it is. I put that on because, like I said, I can lose track of time. But that 5-minute timer gives me my indication that I need to go ahead and give you my hashtag word. And for those of you that don't know, basically I give you a hashtag word for the last 5 minutes. You put it in the comments. I do a little giveaway tool, and then you will put you on a list for an Amazon gift card, which I pass out at the end of every month. So we're just starting, well, I guess we're first weekend of this month. At the end of August, or first part of August, September. That's the next month line. September, you'll be getting something from me, and I'll contact you on that. Okay, there's Miss Doris, and we got Ruby in the house. Who else? Who else am I missing here? I need to look at my phone too, because sometimes on my laptop I miss things that I don't see on my phone. Okay, all right, guys. So let's do this. I'm going to take you down below and see all the menagerie of madness I got going on here, and show you what I'm going to be doing. I can see your comments and all that, so please, don't hesitate to ask me questions or talk amongst yourself or whatever you want to do. Okay, so here's the deal. I totally got inspired. I was watching another crafting group on this past weekend. I think it was Friday and Saturday or something like that. They did a steampunk, and it was Wild Honey. I'm going to mention the group. It's Wild Honey. I did not know anything about this. I love steampunk stuff. I've done several steampunk things. If you guys don't know what steampunk is, then I'll give you a little rundown on that. But if anybody did catch some of that steampunk, I was like, oh no, I really, really loved it. But I couldn't get in there. Number one, I didn't know about it, and then too late for me to get in on it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this little bird guy here. I didn't really plan on it being steampunk in any. I just kind of created this a long time ago. Obviously, you can see I just did a little ball. This has been sitting in my studio for several months, honestly. I was just playing around one day, and I got my little bird all sculpted out. It is an actual solid piece. This ball here does have aluminum foil in it, and I just kind of molded it. So I like doing, you guys, like, if you see me, I like to do some things sometimes that are like stackables. And this is another stackable. I just did my fish ones the last time I was on here. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to steampunk it. And steampunk is basically like a mixed media, all Victorian and industrial gears and things like that. Some really funky things that you can throw together. But I'm going to put it on one of these little dollar store stands. I'll probably end up painting this up. I think I might do it in copper. I love copper. That's my favorite metal. But I'm going to sit it up like that. And actually, it just looks cool almost like that, right? So you get to see, let me put my camera up just a smidge so it's not so dark. You see all my madness I got going on my table. So it's going to be something like that. And of course, like I said, I'm going to add all these elements onto it. So we're going to go ahead and see how far I get with this and we'll jib-jab for a bit and talk about the weather and whatever else you guys want to talk about. So who else I got in here that I missed so far? Let's see. I think I'm pretty much caught up on comments. Let me put myself roll up here. Rowena, let's see. Yep, I got you guys. Okay, Louise. Hey, Louise, how's it going? Good to have you here. All right, so yeah, so what I did, like I said, this is all air dry clay. I've been seeing a lot of crafters use clay. It really excites me when I see people use clay because I love clay. I'm so fanatically obsessed with working with clay. If you don't know, I mention this a lot to people when they're doing clay and they're just starting out. So if you catch this today, then you can spread the word to other people. This DAS air dry clay, this and JOVI are one of the best air dry clays that I have discovered, and I'll tell you why. Because number one, there's really virtually no shrinkage on it. It really is a nice texture to work with. It almost feels like ceramic clay, and also there's no cracking. That Play-Doh stuff, if you have it, give it to your grandkids. Honestly, I had a whole bucket of it and I gave it to my grandson because you want something like this. And this actually, you can get it in a thinner. Usually polymer clay is the one you get like really thin sheets, like super, super thin. This actually got pretty thin for me. I did a tomato in a bikini for a friend, and I was surprised I could actually get really thin strands and let the little bikini on the person. I was really impressed with this clay. So DAS, you can get it. Sometimes a lot of stores, I've even seen it at Walmart, you know, your Hobby Lobbies and all that. You can get it on Amazon. Last time I got this one on Amazon at $8. It's gone up a little bit. You know, you just have to hunt and peck for it, but that's a good play to have. Okay, and you got to remember it's air dry, so you do need to make sure that you keep it covered when you're not using it. You got a little bit of workability, but you know, just make sure. I don't like it to be too dry when I work it out. You can always add a little water to it if you see me going along. We're going to do that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Like I said, I've got most of it. I want to paint a good portion of this. So I only have 3 things that I need to really do with the clay to show you a little bit how the clay works. I'm using molds. By the way, if anybody likes steampunk, I mentioned these at the last event. I found all these like really cool steampunk things, these gears and your sockets and all that sort of thing, pipes and whatnot. I got these off Amazon. These are some pretty cool molds. I haven't used the big guys yet. I'm not sure exactly what I might use those for, but sometimes I cover glasses with clay and I use these sort of things, and I've done some, you know, all different sort of things. So I've got like these little molds here. Sometimes, lately I've been Temu obsessed with molds because they got so dang many and they're so cheap, so I use those. All right, let's see what else we got going on. Makes me want to get my clay on. Get your dang clay out. Clay along. Come play in the clay with me, girl. Let's see, she said the burr is solid and the ball has, yes, exactly. That's exactly right. I could have put a little bit of aluminum here to start with, maybe a little ball, but like I said, I just grabbed a hunk and started molding it, and I think I was watching some other events, and I just started playing with it till I pretty much got it to where I want. And it kind of reminds me of Edgar Allan Poe, although I'm not much into creepy stuff or like dark stuff, but I do like this look, and I was thinking about making it more fun and whimsical, but like I said, it's going to be steampunk. It'll still be whimsical, but in a little different vein. All right, so here, let's go. Let's go ahead and get some clay work done, and then I'll start working on the other. Oh, look at these. I got these off Temu, guys. If you guys grab these, I know buttons come in all shapes and sizes, but these are all these like really cool Victoria buttons. You guys want to grab these? I don't do much of that, like show you my Temu reveal, but these are like really cool Victorian buttons. They got like little flowers and clocks and thing on them. They're pretty cool. This is my first time using these, and I wanted to use something with numbers in there, so I'm going to use these green ones. And then what else? Oh yeah, all your little, you know, what would steampunk be without some metal old keys, right? I found some really small ones in this grouping here and all that. Okay, so thank you for sprinkling, Miss Doris. I appreciate that. Okay, let's do some molds with these things. Now, I actually have metal gears, that like the real metal ones or aluminum, whatever, in these gears, and or these sockets. No, these aren't sockets. These are more like gears, I guess. But number one, I didn't think I had one small enough. I'm going to do the eye in one of these. And number 2, I want it to kind of be, I've actually done on a round surface where I kind of bend it with a pair of pliers. But with this, I can just shape it to the actual piece on the bird. So I think I was looking before and I was trying to figure out which one I think might work. because I need 2 eyeballs. I'm going to try this little guy right here first. I'm just going to press a little clay in there and see what kind of impression I get. I've already created my eye socket, but I decided that I like the look of the gear. So I'm just going to go over it and see how that looks and just hide it up. It's one thing kind of cool about clay is you can just hide whatever you don't want to show. Okay, let's see what else we got. I'm trying to keep up with the comments here. Does it get in your rings? You know, it's funny. People might ask. A lot of times, of course, I'm right-handed. I have more jewelry on my left hand, and there are times that, depending on what I'm working on, because it's a very soft, and even polymer clay, super fine, soft. It will, and I will take my rings off if I'm doing a project where I really have, like, say, if I'm molding this ball. Yes, my indentions that would get in there and stuff, so I would take my rings off and do it. But since I'm doing molds at this point right now, I don't really need to. But that is a very good question. And yes, you can definitely get impressions with your jewelry. So it's best to go take your jewelry off when you're first forming your piece out. I like, thanks, Tammy, appreciate that. I like the bow funky, bow funny, the bow funny. I'm not sure what that means. What's bow funny? Was that a what you call it? A autocorrect thing. All right, so anyway, I press this in here. This is really, really small, guys. I'm going to take my tissue blade and see if I can get most of it off, because you know, I've gone over the mold itself, and like I said, I've served this before. You just lay it flat, and this would work really good with polymer. These are so small, really, really small. We'll see what I get with these, but I actually want to have this dry. You know what? Quick idea here. I'm going to dry this up. This is one little tip I learned, that you can actually use your heat gun while it's still in the mold. Something like this, it might help dry it out. I mean, pull it out and it won't miss shaping. So just put a little piece of that and see if this happens. It's got little teeny little the little gears. It might be a little too small, but we're going to try it. If it doesn't work, I'll try another one. But I'm trying to get something that will represent eyeball pretty good. But yeah, you can do a little preheat with your clay, which is really cool, on air dry. That's a little tip, because I don't think people realize or think about that. I got to thinking about it when I was working on a project the other day, and I needed to get something done fast. Also, these silicone molds, that's one of the things on my list is to, oh, I forgot to show you. The way I do this, I turn these over like this and lay them out like that and just kind of roll it off, because if you do that, it'll be a lot cleaner than trying to pull it out, because it's going to misshapen your piece. It actually did come out. I got a little edge on it, but I'll try to clean that up the best I can, but it's pretty cool. Now I'm going to paint this metal. It's going to look like a metal piece, okay? And I'm going to sit that over. Well, maybe I need to put it on the iron. Actually, that's going to be a good, yeah, that's a good size. I'm going to go ahead and make another one of those. I just messed with it. Darn it. But I think it'll work for me. Sometimes it's not exactly perfect, and I'm not fanatical about that. Like I said, I'm going for whimsy. I just got to remember which one it was. I can't remember which one I did. I should have put a little arrow by it or something. Let me try to remember the thing. So that one, that one, that one. All right, I think it's this one. Okay, we're going to try that. Good night, Kim. So I get to talking too much. Yes, ma'am. These are called, the reason, obviously, kind of, we call them tissue blades because they're so stinking thin. And they're like pretty razor sharp. And like I said, I have really never cut myself, but you got to be careful and make sure you're getting the right side. A person can put a piece of tape on here so you can identify what side is what. I'm so used to looking at them. I usually check them beforehand, but they're really, really great for like scraping things up, lifting things, cutting, doing straight like down. And these are, you can get a pack of 3 of these. If anybody wants to go on my page and go to my link tree, you can see in my Amazon and go to all my favorites and see that I got these from Amazon. And they were super cheap. There was like a pack of 6, actually 3 sets. You get 2 long ones like this, and you get a short one, and there's 6 of those. And I think they were like $5 for the whole thing, something like that. All right, so let me go ahead and do this other one. All right, now one thing it's about, like I said, air dry clay as opposed to polymer clay. Which one was it again? I think it was this one. Is that you have to make sure that you do your work within a certain amount of time. Polymer clay is beautiful because you can put that thing aside for 2 months and not work on it, and then go back to it and not stress over it. But you got a little bit of a time limit when you're working with air dry clay. And depending on your room and your factors of when it's heat, well, depending on, and like I said, you saw where you can put a little bit of of a heat tool on there and get it going a little bit quicker, which is a great tip, by the way. If you guys are going to work with air dry clay, just like I said, pop it with your heat gun for a little bit. It'll kind of pre-dry it so you can handle it. I think that's the same one. If not, then I'll just redo that one and make it one. All right. I think that should be good enough. Like I said, I'm just trying to get a little bit of a crust on it. Those talk to text, I know, the crate. Don't think so. Put in the comments. That's why I put it in again. Okay, I gotcha. Like I said, if you guys ever sent a talk to text to somebody and then realized it had like a foul word in it, I'm like, oh, to somebody especially you didn't want to give a foul word to. I've done that. Well, actually, it wasn't necessarily something came up like kiss me one time and to this perfect stranger person. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad I caught that. And actually, it did get sent one time. And I'm like, that was not for you. I didn't mean to say that. So yeah, that one came out a little cleaner. Yeah, so I'm going to go with that one. I think that one, I'm not going to use that first one. I'm going to redo that one because that one was a little funky. It didn't like me, and I didn't like it because I was too busy talking and I messed it up. All right, so this is Team Tip. So I'm going to do these two, and then I've got this little guy. I'm going to do this for his headdress, and you guys get to see how you can use molds without having to do, like you can manipulate the molds to do what you need them to do. So it's not like you have to pull the mold out and use the whole mold. I've just got some cool face molds. By the way, I'll show you. I got 6 or 7 of these darn things. And I'm going to start doing some funky little things with faces, and there's babies, and there's, but I had to remake a mermaid bottle for a person who bought something from me. And I used that half of that. I took the mold out and then I cut the face in half because I only need a profile. So that's kind of, like, think about that. You can actually do that. You don't have to just use it straight the way it is. Kind of cool. Let's see. So you have to leave your bag sitting where you work. So you have to leave your bag sitting while you're working. Are you talking to me? Yeah, I leave this here, and I do usually kind of cover it up. I just like to turn it over. I mean, it's not going to dry that darn fast on you. It's not going to be like in 10 minutes. But it starts getting a little bit of a dry crust on it. And, of course, you can just kind of redo it again if you want to with your, kind of mix it up with your hands. But if it gets too dry, then you definitely, that one pulled out. Thank you. All right. Might be because my clay got a little bit on the dry side. Like I said, you can always re-wet it with water, but you don't want to do it much. I mean, you just want to do a real low light, like light to the touch, because it can get a little bit mucky, and it can get feels a little kind of like a slimy feel to me. I've already dried that, so maybe this won't work. I might have to start over with that. It's the little silly things that sometimes can take a long time. The bigger things don't take so long. Yeah, let's see. Is that going to work, or did I mess it up? All right, we'll try it. Okay, so I'm going to put that, like I said, that's going to be for the eye. And then I got to do this. And then I'm going to roll out I've got a stencil here, and I'm going to roll that out real quick, and we're going to use that around the what you call it, the bulb. See if this works, guys. It might crack because I pre-dried it. Hopefully it'll come out and I can move on, get past these little stinking things. Like I said, I could have easily used my metal ones, but I didn't think I had anything small enough. And I kind of wanted to show you. Yeah, great. Perfection. Okay, I got it. Sweet. Okay, there's 2. I'm going to leave those right there. We'll get rid of that. Now, let's get this bigger one out of the way. What I'm going to do with this is, oh, thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys sprinkling me out. And like I said, I'm not saying I'm the total oddball, but I think I am one of the main crafters that works primarily with just clay. I mean, I incorporate wood and some metal, and I work with it on glass as well. But clay is my jam, and so I appreciate you guys, hanging out with me and letting me share my clay goodies with you, because that's what I love to do. And I've done a lot of the other stuff that you guys do. I've done decoupage, paint furniture. I've taught like 30 plus years and all kinds of different things. I've never really got too much into paper crafting and junk journaling though, which is kind of cool. I don't know, with journals, I used to have journals. I used to write, but then I don't know. I don't do it much anymore. I just don't take the time. I'm too busy doing other projects, I guess. All right, so like I said, I'm cutting down this here, but I'm going to use part of it. I figured I could try to use it for like a headdress on top of a bird. I'll hold this up once I get it sliced up. I'm not going to need the whole thing, but I'm going to go ahead and actually I'm going to hit it with my gun a little bit just to kind of get it a little bit dry. So let me see a couple things I wanted to talk about. Well, first off, I know this is not, and I didn't ask Miss Vicki first before. Vicki, I mean Victoria, you can even find Vicki, or do you prefer to call Victoria? I have a tendency to nickname everybody, and I'm sorry if I overstep that boundary, but my name's Kimberlyn, and I go by Kim. It's a lazy man's way of saying things. So, but I didn't know. Anyway, Miss Victoria said it was okay to kind of mention this. There's another group, if you guys are not familiar with Sacred Treasure Hunt, they're doing a big old Christmas party thing. And I'm going to be a part of that. And it's coming up in November. And they're selling kits and tickets. And it's like a private group function. And it's going to be really, really cool. There's 6 different kits that can be bought. If you're interested in any of that information, you guys can get with me later. And I'll tell you more about it because we're trying to get all that set up and get people rolling over there. It's going to be a really fun time. Very different. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to keep it in the camera so you guys can see something too. This came out right. All right, let's see it. A little part. Let me see. Am I going to use that? I'm going to show what this looks like. Yeah. Oh, Vicky's fine. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm getting for this one. But I don't know. I think I need to take that little piece on the side. If I can take that out and add it to it, if I'm going to have to redo it, the whole thing. It's probably going to be better if I just redo it, try to press it back together. Yeah, let me redo it. All right. Like I said, the stinking little things is what takes time because I do want to get to painting this too, guys. I want you guys to see what it looks like with the colors on there. So I'm going to incorporate some oranges and greens and aqua and brown, and then I'm going to add my little gear pieces on there, which will be like my metallics. So let's try to press this one more time, please. Come on now. These little intricate things. Sometimes people use cornstarch in these. As you guys can see, I find that I don't really need the cornstarch. They come out pretty good with me with the clay. I think maybe if you were using hot glue, it might need cornstarch, which you can use hot glue in these things. And some people use resin with them and all that. But for the clay, it seems to do pretty good without the cornstarch. At least for me, it does. I don't have any problem with it. Like I said, if you turn it upside down and peel it off that way, it's better than trying to lift it up because you'll distort your image. Same. I've played with clay, but I don't know much about it. Yeah. Well, like I said, this is the place to learn. And if you ever want to join my class, just let me know. Get with me, and I'll sign you up in there. Basically, what it is, you just go and sign up in PayPal, send me $8, and then I'll send you over into the class, and you can start seeing all the different projects they got going on there. And I just did one last Friday. We did once a class once a month, and we're doing wall pockets. We did wall pockets this month, and I'll show you guys. If you're on my page, you'll be able to see that. Okay, this one is like crappy, but I think that's all I really need. I only need half of this. I didn't want the whole thing. I'll show you what I'm going to do with it in a second. I think I got enough of it. Not, I might not mess with this. I might just go on to something else and do this part later because I don't want you guys to spend all your time watching me work with this dang mold. I got plenty of other things I need to do. So I know that I can get it. I pulled it out before. All right, that's it, but it's a little bit more intricate than the other one. So what I'm going to do, and I think I'm just going to pass on this, and I'll finish in enough because it's kind of a little bit more time consuming. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 of the same. I'm going to sandwich them back to back. Here's my idea. It will take a little bit more time than I got to tell you here, but I'm going to sandwich them back to back. I've got a little piece of floral wire. See this little teeny piece of floral wire? I'm going to put the floral wire in between the 2, and I'm going to put it in here. I've got to let it dry first. And I'm going to make a headdress. This is going to be like a headdress on top of him, but I've got my hole here that I've already set for it. So you guys, I mean, you get the idea. It's just, like I said, I have to kind of play with it, and it's hard for me to kind of concentrate and engage with you guys, but I'm going to put that aside, and then we're going to work on the other piece, and then we're going to start painting it up. All right, so you guys, sorry about that. I didn't execute the way, but some things are just so tedious and time consuming, and I don't want to waste all my time with you guys just doing that little thing right there because I got so much more to deal with. Okay, Creative Love, but you look so good to know you have classes. Yes, ma'am, I sure do. Yeah, I started my group a while back, and it kind of went into a hiatus mode because I sort of kind of jumped the gun. I started it in the very beginning when I started going live. I didn't have any people. I didn't have any followers, and people didn't know about what I was doing. So I had to kind of develop myself a little bit and get my name out there a little bit. And not that I'm huge by any means, but some people are into what I do, and I've got a few people that are in the group. And it's kind of fun. It's really fun. I love to teach, guys, and it's so nice to be interactive because besides just doing the comments, we can see each other face to face, and it's kind of like being on a Zoom thing, and you can do a more interactive thing with it. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, and then we're going to be done with the clay pieces. Don't worry, it's pretty solid. It can break, but it'll take quite a bit to break it. It's pretty strong stuff. All right, I'm going to roll a little bit of clay out here. I got some of this. I've taken a big hunk of it here, and I'm just going to roll a little bit out. I didn't really gauge how. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a circumference around this ball here. Probably should have painted the ball first. You use Zoom on a daily basis. Okay, what do you do, Lisa? Did you mention the event that you asked me about? Yes, I did. I mentioned that it's a Sacred Treasure House Christmas party event. And like I said, it's a really, it's going to be quite different. We'll be able to play music in there, guys. She's got games going on. If you sign up and get a kit, basically what it is, there's 6 kits. They're $14.99 plus $5 shipping. They're having a special deal on it. They're giving a lot of kits away. They're doing a lot of giveaways on this thing. And they're actually having their thing going on right now. But I chose to come in here and do this with you guys. Anyway, yeah, but you can, if you're interested in that and getting that Christmas thing, it's a Christmas party. It's a 2-day Christmas party. It's not like a regular event because there's a lot more that's going to be going on than what just, not that, I mean, obviously we love events. That's why we're here and all this, but there's going to be a lot of interaction and a lot of games and a lot of raffles and and even a lot of what you do is you can get your kit and you can follow along with the crafter or the presenter of the day and to see what they're doing and actually do your kit later or do it whatever. I don't want to talk too much about that because that's another group, and I don't want to take away from this group at all. But I just want to kind of mention that in case you guys might have an interest. It's going to be pretty cool. Oh, so you attend meetings? I see. What you got? Virtual meetings. Cool. Got you, girl. All right. So I'm just kind of rolling this out. I do want it to be fairly consistent on my thickness, of course. Pulling out my little slab here. I don't think this is going to be long enough to go around the whole thing. I like to pick it up, turn it over, and roll it again. But same thing with polymer clay. Like I said, polymer clay, you can actually run through a pasta maker, which I have one off to the side. I don't know if I showed that before. If you guys look, see this little thing right here? That's a pasta maker where you roll it out. But it's really great for working with polymer clays. And I use that every time I'm conditioning or if I need to get like a consistently even piece. I use my polymer clay, my roller for that. Without, sometimes I usually always use it in the beginning. With the classes, I've been getting people just to use the rollers because they don't always have pasta makers, but they're good to have. If you ever run across one in the store, go pick it up. All right, we're going to see if this is long enough to go around that. And it's not, I can tell. I need to make it a little bit thinner. I'm kind of pushing the envelope with this clay. And let's see, Tanya is awesome. What did I miss here? Yeah. I have a pasta maker I got for clay. Yes, awesome, good. It's actually my phone. Sweet. Yeah, they're really nice to have, I'm telling you, because it gets your clay, as for your polymers, it gets them really consistently the same width, and it get really super thin. I mean, you get like really paper thin with these things. This is this little brayer roller. People use these for printing and things like that. But it comes in handy. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and give this a try. If I'm a little short getting this around that ball, I'll just add a piece to it or something. I can finagle it and make it work. So what I'm doing here basically is I'm embossing on the plate. When you put the stencil down and you roll it like this, it makes that an embossed image, which is pretty darn cool. I love doing this. This is another way to use stencils, guys. Then you're going to pull it up. You got a really cool image. If you guys can't see it for now, I'll try to bring it up to you once I get it on the ball. What I need to do, to tell you the truth, is I need to go ahead and paint this ball green before I put this on here because I want this to be a different color. Or maybe I'll just paint it all the same damn color and then just go ahead and redo it later. Just for the sake, I can do it either way. It's fine. I want to try to, this is part of this is about presentation and showmanship too, guys. It's, you know, you want to execute a cool project, but I want you guys to get an idea of what you can do with it too. And yeah, so, you know, playing with clay, depending on your project, like lately, like I said, I've said this before, I don't know what's gotten into me. I used to not be that much of a detailed person. Like I used to do murals and stuff like that and just want to like whack stuff out and really big, you know, and get it done and be done with it. Because, you know, if I spend too much on a project, I can get like a little bored and la 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 la. But lately, I don't know. I'm really getting into these like little teeny parts, which I'm surprised doesn't drive me crazy. But I can do that. Thank you for sprinkling, Miss Tina. How are you doing, darling? Okay, so I can already tell with my eyeball, I think this is going to be a little too short. But okay, I'm going to show you how we do this display. You guys can see this. Works really good. One thing about this, it gets on your hand. Polymer is clean. You don't feel, there's nothing residue on your hands when you use polymer clay. But this is not as bad as working with ceramic clay, by the way. You guys have probably used ceramic clay in school at some point, right? In high school, I took art classes and they used to have the clay. You can just lift it right up like that, which is pretty darn cool. It's one of the really good things I love about using the tissue blades. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this border around. Let me bring my guy over here. Get this stuff up out of the way. Time flies when you're having fun, right, guys? All right, let's see how. Oh, just did. I was going to suck that down on there. Okay, this base here, you can see what I did is I cut a little thick piece out and I put a little divot hole in here because I'm going to glue this down in a minute and make it sit on there. I probably should already did that too. I kind of jumped the gun. I start doing things in my head. It's all planned out right. And then I get on here and then I start going, blah, 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 and next thing you know, I'm like, you know, forgetting what I was supposed to do, what I told myself I was going to do. All right, anyway, so let's try this and see how that's going to work. That's kind of big. I don't know if I really wanted it that big. But we're just going to go with it. We're going to go with it and see how far I make it around. So you can see what I'm doing here. Actually, you know what? I got another idea. I'm going to see. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to cut this out a little bit, not much, because I don't really like that big, thick, straight line. I want it to be, I'm going to take my X-Acto knife. And I'm just going to kind of cut around this and kind of make it a little bit more, come on, clay. See, sometimes the polymer works better for certain things. You don't want to drag too much on this because it'll drag your image. All right. Kind of mess that up a little bit. But also it's kind of cool because you can put it back together. So I'm just taking a little bit of this excess off because I didn't really like that look of just being straight on that ball. Okay, so there's something else I wanted to talk to you guys about. Oh, yeah, I need to see that. I'm sorry. I need to look up every once in a while. Look up in the camera. Let me see comments. See what you guys think. Okay, so yeah, there's another thing I want to talk about. So I have a friend, a local friend here that's very creative, and she's in the bead world. I just wanted to ask, are there anybody else out there, you ladies, that creative or whatever, that are into beading? I didn't really realize it was such a thing, but good night. We went down, she had a show. She did a show. She's been beading. I've seen her work, and it's just absolutely incredible. The intricate little beads, now that's something I do not have the patience for, is they bead and they bead, and they made these tremendously amazing things out of beads, like these big, huge necklaces and all this sort of thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, we went down there, and there were 200 vendors, ladies, and they're taking classes, and they're paying $200-300 a class. I'm like, dang, I'm not in the wrong business. But anyway, she is encouraging me to do it because I can make some clay pieces to incorporate with their bead work. And I'm like, oh, I see. Okay, good idea. So anyway, but beading is like amazing. There are so many cool beads out there. You do seed beads and make, okay, yeah, okay, so you got an idea. I'm like, now I've been to bead stores before and I've seen them. I'm like, oh, these are really pretty. I've played around with little jewelry. I've done junk jewelry and things like that, like taking it apart, putting it back together and all that happy stuff. But I mean, this is just the intricate stuff. They're making little pocketbooks and things like that. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's amazing what they're doing. All right, so this is just a free form. I didn't really plan this out. I just kind of cut it away a little bit. and that's fine with me. Like I said, I'm more of a fly by the seat of your pants person sometimes with some of this stuff. All right, so now we're going to try to put it back on there, see if it does any better. It just looked way too bulky before. I think this is going to make it look a little bit better. This stuff is already starting to sit up a little bit. Now, one thing I need to do too before I get started is I'm going to put a little water on this. You could, if it was, well, if this can't be dry because you need to have it curved. You know, you can't just let this thing dry like that because it'll be straight and it'll crack on you. So you got to put it on while it's wet and curvy. You know, I mean, wet so you can curve it around. You see, I just took a little brush of water on there. So I'm doing this number. Yeah, I like that better. I like that it's got a little bit of curve on. I might even cut some more away. Now I could have done it, put it on here and cut it away too, thinking about it, but whatever. I'm just gonna do this. And it is oh, it did make it. Sweet. It did make it around. I don't know if it was gonna make it around, guys. But it's not even. I gotta make it even. It's wonky conky right now. Put my camera up. Okay. I'm gonna try to get it straight. You guys is multitasking, looking in the camera and trying to talk and comment and clay and make at the same time. It's definitely an art itself. Can I pull this away without it falling apart on me? Please, please, please don't fall. Okay, I got to get a little bit straighter. Trying to get it fairly straight on there. Once I get it to where I like it, I can press it all down. And it's pretty sticky on there already. I can feel it. Okay, I think that's good. I'm going to kind of go with that. It might be a little bit off-centered, but whatever. It is what it is. It's going to be cool. I think it'll be cool once I get it done. So sometimes my pieces take me a little time to throw together, but they come out pretty cool in the end, I think. All right, let me cut this. Here's a way that you can sandwich two pieces together of clay. You cut it at an angle. Like if you really don't want to seam, you cut it at a little bit of an angle with your blade. And you do that number. I think I still cut it in a little bit too thin. Right. Cut it at an angle. Right. Dang it. Get it off. It's starting to stick. So I can. All right. And then usually what happens is you can just seam your angles together. Seam your two pieces together, your ends together, and it'll make a nice seam line. It'll come together nice and clean. I got to put a little water. Like I said, I'm used to working with polymer for this type of stuff. And then I tell you what, it's a little bit more stretchability. And I can just throw it together really easy. It's a little bit more, you can work with it a little bit better when it comes to things like this. But I'll make this work. All right, guys. Get it over there. Come on, come on. Don't break on me. All right, and then you can kind of just work your seam line in. You might lose a little bit of your image, but you can actually go back over there if you want to with your stencil and kind of make that work. All right, so now I'm just going to go ahead and press this on here, get it all around my edges and whatnot, and make it look a little cleaner. And then I'm going to paint. I'm going to start painting a little bit of this, guys, okay? It might look a little funky now, but when you start getting the colors on it, that's when it starts coming together. So you can see I'm just taking my finger, running my finger over it. I want to get those edges kind of smooth. Haven't messed with them for a bit. Hopefully I can. Oh, girl, don't talk to me about arthritis. That's my back. I wake up every morning. I've got my back, my knees, my toes. I'm like, I'm going to the, I'm a vet. I'm going to the VA finally on Thursday and see if they can give me some answers because I've been having chronic back pain for a few years in my hip. Said I got a bone spur and all kinds of crazy stuff, but I don't want to talk about that. That's why we won't talk about our medical conditions. Let's talk about something more fun. All right, so anyway, that's kind of cool. I mean, I think it's fairly centered. It could be a little bit straighter, but I think all in all, once I get everything painted, it'll be fine. I don't think it's going to be too far off. All right, so that's kind of what I got going on so far. Now I'm going to go ahead and start painting. Even though this is all hard and dry, these other pieces, you can go ahead and paint this clay, you know, this piece here while it's wet. I'm not going to worry about that, and I'll probably paint over it anyway. But I do want to make sure that I get my ends down right here. I want to make sure that that's nice because you'll have like a little gap going on in there. We got Miss Doris on here. That's the art. Yeah, I know it. I know. My aunt's in her 70s, and you know she's had knee replacements and everything else, and mine's starting to hurt. And I'm like, oh God, I'm 62. I'm like, really? I ain't ready for that. Please, I don't want to do that yet. In my mind, I still think I'm 30 years old. I try to want to do all these crazy things like jumping out of airplanes and zip lining and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. All right, so anyway, so that's what it is right there. It don't look like much, but like I said, we're going to start painting on it, and we'll see how far we get. Okay, getting older, sissies. Exactly. I remember that saying. That was cute. Like I said, you know, when you're younger, you think, yeah, you know, you're invincible. I remember back in my 50s, I was still kicking it. Trust me. I was doing a lot more. I was eating a little bit better. I was doing the raw food diet. I had a raw food restaurant. I was totally like, you know, juicing and doing all this stuff. And I was living up in North Carolina off the grid, and I was slinging tires and slinging mud and doing all kinds of stuff. Well, that's actually one of the culprits that started all my problems in my back, to tell you the truth. But I was kicking it. And I remember my mom's passed now. She's died pretty early in her 70s, but she said to me, you just wait. You just wait till it catches up with you. I'm like, oh, Mom, whatever, you know. And now look at it. Yeah, it's caught up with me. All right, so I think that's actually going to turn out pretty cool, guys. Let's put it up on the pedestal just to get a general idea. Of course, everything's, so we're going to see how far we can paint a little bit. All right, so you're going to get an idea. Now let's start painting it up and see if we can come up with it. Of course, I'll put that little headdress on at some point when I get it done, but let's do some painting. All right, I kind of planned out my colors too. I need to paint this. Let me set this up. I took my jar away. Try to get it to sit up. So I just paint that bottom part. Come on, set up there. Come on, set up, set up, set up. Don't fall over. Stop. You're being a pill. All right, set you up. I just want to set it up somewhere until I can get this bottom painted, then I can glue it all together. So what I do, we're going to do brown. So we're going to do some brown stuff on here. Thank you for your service. Ah, you're welcome. You know, it's funny, Victoria. I say this to everybody. I've been in the military in the 80s, and not for nothing, but I was 19, and I didn't know what the heck to do with myself. It was during Reaganomics, and like old enough to remember Reaganomics. Well, I was like, I didn't really want to go to college yet because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I'm a practical person. I said, well, why do I want to spend my parents' money and go through all that time and effort when I don't know what I want to do yet? I know people start with liberal arts and all that, blah, blah. Anyway, I decided I was with a friend and we were watching Private Benjamin. You guys remember that old Goldie Hawn movie? And I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll do the military. I'll try the military. Now, she was in the Army. I chose Navy. And I was actually living in Montana in an Air Force town. I'm like, why didn't I go Air Force? Everybody kept telling me about Air Force, but I chose to go Navy because I'm, you know, dumb enough to think that I'm going to be sitting, you know, in the Caribbean somewhere because I love the water. I love being around anything to do with water. And I thought, well, I'll be, you know, I know they weren't doing ships back then with ladies, but I thought, what the heck, I'll just join Navy. Anyway, long story short, I joined the Navy. I ended up in Texas and working on the flight line around the aircraft for 4 years, launching and recovering the aircraft. And, you know, I always say, and I know people say, you know, still you took your time and effort. I kind of did it because I didn't know what else to do. So but, you know, I appreciate the service more now than I did when I was younger. I kind of, you know, honestly, I thought it was kind of a joke. But after being out and having 40 years of free health care and, you know, and I just have a better, as I got older, I have a better appreciation for it. You know, the veterans, especially the war ones. My ex-husband was a Navy SEAL, and he went through a lot of stuff, and so I can appreciate a lot about the military now than I was when I was younger. Okay, I'll end up painting the bottom of this once I get it finished, but right now I'm just going to go ahead and try it. Let's see what Sherry says here. Sherry Tompkins Cook. Yeah, in my brain, I think I'm able to skydive. Then I remember I have already had both my knees replacements, among other things. Not really to, yeah, I know. I think I might still give it a go, honestly. My town of DeLand, Florida, is one of the skydiving capitals. I don't know why. We have a little teeny airport here, and people are always skydiving. And I think I might give it a shot. It's a couple $100, and I think I'll do a tandem with somebody. Maybe on my next birthday. All right, I'm just kind of coloring this up in your way. I might lighten it up a little bit, but I'm dried up. I've got about a little over 15. Not quite 15 minutes left. Yeah, that's a little bit on the dark side. I don't think I want it quite that dark. So let's lighten it up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that onto this one. And I got to paint the ball up. Because I think I'm going to do, like I said, I think I'm going to do this in copper. sometimes I've had a tendency to change my mind once I get in here and do these things and have time to really think about it. Yeah, knee replaced. Oh, you're 61. Like I said, I'm 62, and my left knee's taking a hit. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't like this. Like I said, I got a freaking bone spur or something in my heel. Anyway, like I said, I don't want to get in here and talk about complaining about my body. Let's talk about, like I said, let's talk about something fun. Private group. What else? I'll talk about. Oh yeah, the beading event. So did I miss some comments about beading? I know that Lisa, I am sorry. I know your name pronounced. I always want to call you Lisa because you got the double S's. Lisa was talking about her beading, but I was just enthralled with the amount of beads and the cool things that they were doing. I mean, it's just awesome. Oh, changing the sub real quick though. Has anybody ever skydived? I mean, not skydive. Done a zip line. Zip lines are really fun. Thank you for this. Yeah, like I said, thank you guys. You know, like I said, to me, I didn't think I really did much. I just went in because I needed a job. I didn't know what to do with myself. I did my 4 years and got out and went on with other things. All right, I'll paint that later. But I want to get this on here so I can secure this. So I'm going to do green on the ball. And then I think what I'm going to do on the little guy here, I think I'm going to do like maybe aquas or something. How did you end up getting green? You're not just supposed to be green. Hold up. I got a little bit of green on here. It's supposed to be orange. I guess when I opened up my can, it squirted out on me. I know this is really gross to do, but I'm doing an old spit clean, guys. I didn't want to pull out a fresh one because I had it in my I'm using my tongue to clean it up. That's gross, isn't it? All right, nobody wants to buy this now because it's got my spit on it. All right, let's do some green on this guy. I just had my fourth. It's so over the. Oh my goodness! Like I said, my mom had one. A couple of my aunts have had them. I think in my family that's kind of a thing. Arthritis stuff. We don't have, thank God, we don't have the C word too much, but we have all the other stuff. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna do green on here, and I don't really want to do green on here, but if I get a little bit on there, it ain't gonna hurt it. I'll go back over it and I'll just touch it up because these are acrylic paints. You guys know you can paint over acrylics, and they're very forgiving as well. Just had my fluff in my face. So yeah, like I said, in the military, I don't know. I just I even, like they have the veterans when you get your free meals and all that. I've only done that one time. I never thought about it. I just kind of said, oh, and a lot of people in my family that went into the military. My dad, my stepdad, he actually, okay, check what he did. He was a musician when he was, he played guitar when he was in the Navy. I'm like, how cool is that? Oh, his was a lot easier. He traveled around and played music. I'm like, well, that's pretty cake. Guess somebody's got to do it, right? So, I mean, people appreciate you going in there, but, and granted, you got to put up a lot of poo-poo. There's, back in there, I was 20 some, and I had a chip on my shoulder, and I thought I was all that in a bag of chips. And, I mean, it's not that I don't respect people. It's just that I don't like authority that's when it's kind of stupid, honestly, when they don't make any sense. It's just ridiculous to me when they make decisions about things that have no common sense, because I'm so common sense oriented. Even back then, I'm like, why are you doing this? They had me washing airplanes when I first got to my duty station. We were washing the aircraft in the rain at night at 1 in the morning. And I'm like, I'm already over this. I had just I got out of boot camp. It's my first duty. And I'm like, really seriously, washing airplanes while it's raining outside? That was my first indication right there that there's something wrong with this picture. And I'm like, I still got 4 years of this stuff. A lot of the ladies, honestly, they go in the military. Back then, I don't know if they still do it, but they used to go in there to find a husband and get out. It was never my goal. I didn't want to do that. I just ended up finding one in there. Became my first ex, but that wasn't my goal when I went in there. I actually did my 4 years, had my daughter when I was in there and everything, and then I got out. Got my honorable discharge. So the green's going to be kind of cool. I want it to be a little splotchy because it's going to be like a little bit of that distressed look to it. It's kind of a pretty green, guys. Okay, what we got for time here? We got 8 minutes. Okay, so 3 minutes, my little timer is going to go off, guys, and we'll start working on the thing. I got to dry this so I can get this on my I want to get it at least glued onto that bottom piece, guys. Yeah, I want this to be a little bit splotchy. I don't want it to be consistent because I'm gonna be stationing. Ow, this thing's hot, guys. Dang it, I forgot. This is a crazy industrial thing. It's hot as a finger. Just probably the fingers. You see, my husband was stationed in Spain while in the Navy. Okay, yeah. I ended up in Texas, guys. I ended up in Texas for 4 years. Texas. So my daughter was born. Like, really? The only like water that I saw was when I went to the beach in Corpus Christi on my own, or I did spend 10 days in on a detachment in Key West. And I didn't know that at that time because I actually joined the military when I was in Florida. I mean, I graduated high school in Montana, and I joined the service from there and ended up going to Texas and then all that, and went out west for years. All right, so we got two colors going on so far, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this two together. And we got it looking like a little something, okay? But I was trying to get some color on the bird too before. This, I'm not sure. I'm going to paint this last to see how it ties in. I might do it like a mustard yellow or something like that, but we'll see. Sometimes I have a hard time picking my colors. I can't decide what I want to do with colors. Right, let me set you up here for 1 second. What we got here? I see a Jan in there. Who's saying hi to Jan? Am I missing somebody? Just so I can see. Who have I missed? If I miss your comments, Connie Hall. Oh, zipline is on your bucket list. All right, that's another thing here in Florida. I live close to a place called Ocala, and there's an old mining. You wouldn't think Florida was hilly enough, but there's an old mining area where they actually, I'm using hot glue, and I'm going to glue this guy here, where they, you can zip line, and it's in like a not a gully, but we call it like we call those things, you know, where it's like dug out of the ground. I can't get the G word in my mind right now. But yeah, I've been up there and zip line twice. Okay, I got to concentrate for a minute, guys, because I'm going to make sure this is pretty centered. So give me a second. My bird's a little off. I'm looking at this thing now, and it's like a little wonky. Okay, it'll be what it is. Maybe this is one I'll end up keeping for myself until he's trying to sell. I do try to sell my pieces. I do auctions in another group. I have my Etsy shape. Oh, there we go. Dismiss. Okay, that's my 5-minute timer, guys. I'm going to roll you guys out that word in a second. All right, so yeah, so far we've got it sitting on my little pedestal. We've got it sitting right here. I'm going to paint it up a little bit. But we've got 5 minutes. Okay. One of the things I forgot to show you too, I'm not going to do them now because I'm going to keep painting, but I cut out this little piece right here is my little wing piece. It's going to go, I'm going to cut that out of clay, and I'm going to add my wing on there, and I'm going to do one on either side. You guys see that? I'm going to add my wing, and then I'm going to put this little guy right here on top of that, and like I said, I'm going to zhuzh it up really cute. It's going to be very cool. So I think what I'll probably do is I'll just stick this on the camera, and I'll do a reel on it to be able to finish it up so you guys can see a general process after I'm done. But let's go ahead and do the giveaway tool, get that thing started. And I'll still paint a little bit. I think I got a couple minutes. Okay, your hashtag word, guys, is hashtag bird. So go ahead in your comments, put in hashtag bird. Right, blew me way up playing football. Poor guy. Thank you so much for signing up for today. Oh, thank you so much, Victoria. I appreciate it. I love coming on here, you guys. Go ahead and put in your hashtag bird in the comments, and I'm going to do that giveaway tool. Somebody's going to be put on my list for Amazon card. So hashtag, we got 4 minutes left. So go ahead and put your hashtag words in. All right, so we got that. Now what other color? Oh, I don't want to do orange. Orange. Yeah, we're going to do hashtag bird. In about a minute or so, I'll take my camera up so you guys can see my face again, and we'll run that tool and see how it goes. But I'll give everybody a chance to get it in there. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do a little orange on the body here. And I kind of drew my lines where I kind of want my guidelines to be. I'm going to blend it in, though. I want to blend it with my other color. So this is where it takes a little bit more time and effort to kind of do that. But, you know, obviously, once you start putting color on things, things start coming to life. They start popping. But, you know, I just watered this down and blend it in a little bit better with because I'm going to do an aqua on the top part here. Hashtag bird. All right, keep going, guys. Keep track of my time. I got 3 minutes. All right, let me just paint this little section, and then I'm going to stop, and we'll get it up there. Of course, these pieces would have been easier to paint if they weren't attached, but they were. So, you know, it's just a matter of lifting it up and going underneath everything. But I'll do that, like I said, once I have a chance to concentrate and not jab, jab, jab so much. So you guys learn a few things today about clay as far as assembling. By the way, what I have here, and I didn't explain that, is I have a piece of wire. I have a hole inside the bird, and I have a hole in here, and I have a piece of wire going from the bird to here, okay, inside the ball. That's what keeps it in place, okay? And you can actually put a little bit of glue in there to keep it from moving around. That's how you do all that. Okay, 2 minutes. Let's go ahead and change modes here. Change my screen over. Change my screen over. Hashtag bird, guys. You got a couple seconds to go ahead and keep working that in if you didn't get that in there. All right, guys. Now, if you didn't see my face before, hello, how you doing? Here we go. We're going to run that tool. And I always say this because I've had it glitch. If it does not work, I'm going to pick the 5th person in line that came in 5th on my comments, and I will let them know they'll be the winner. But hopefully it'll work. All right, first I need to do is share it with you guys. Make sure you go over and see Miss Rowena Mae. She's up next. Let's see, share screen and see what she's got going on. These crafter choices are so great because you see such a variety of stuff. All right, make sure you guys can see it. Not sharing it. There it comes. Got a little delay time there. All right, so here we go, guys. We're going to run this puppy. See if it works. Cross your fingers. Say a prayer. And draw. Who we got? Who we got? Who we got? Sherry Thompson Cook. Oh, Sherry. Well, that thing kind of glitched out on me. It glitched out. Sometimes it gets stuck like that. Sherry, congratulations. I'm going to put you on the list. Go. Sherry Thompson Cook. Sherry, if you would do me a favor, and I'm going to make this your responsibility. PM me and give me your email address so I can put you down, and I'll get you that gift certificate. You're on the list, and like I said, you'll look for that towards the end of the month for part of September. Congratulations, Sherry, and I appreciate everybody coming on here. I got to roll. Go see Miss Rowena, and you guys enjoy the rest of the day. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.